11:30 p.m., brother. 11:30 p.m. 5-7 TKO. Mean prediction, man. Mean prediction. That first fight was a banger, dog. Pause. That first fight was a banger. I'm actually looking forward to the second. It's truly a battle of iron will, with, less skill. When it comes to Chris Eubank, man, he had the opportunity, first and foremost, to be as successful on the outside as he is on the inside. But he has an ego, bravado. He's willing to fight. And so he can care less about distance. So, but due to the simple fact that he can box on the outside but won't, tells me the fight that he has, and he's always going to produce an exciting fight. But if he really wanted to take the show this time around, I think he should be working on being just as successful on the outside as he was on the inside. So he needs to stay on the outside more, right? He oversteps. He oversteps, meaning when he commits, he overcommits. He steps in too close, putting himself back in range for Conor Benn to possibly land one of the most dangerous shots that I see, which is the overhand right over Chris Eubank's jab, right? I see Chris Eubank shoot a jab and he's wide open. This is pretty much his position when he shoots off with the jab. And if Conor Benn can work on his timing, then that overhand right can be a game changer for him, right? So he oversteps. He oversteps, right? He's willing to fight on the inside, but he throws combinations and he can go. You know what I'm saying? So his edge is being able to punch from 1 through 12. He just gets sloppy late in the fight, right? When it comes to Conor Benn, his problem in the first fight was he'd do a beautiful job of making his way to the inside. A beautiful job. He's shooting feints, slipping, stepping in. But the problem is once he makes it to the inside, he finds a reason to pull back or step back out of position, right? So he was forced to land a lot of his shots from the outside, which he was successful with as well, just wasn't as successful as Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank was able to, again, land his shots on the outside and inside, but he preferred to stay on the inside and bang with Conor Benn, right? Conor Benn needs to learn how to step in and stay in, fight in the inside, make it very uncomfortable for Chris Eubank. On top of that, he needs to sit. Conor Benn, even though he's shorter, he's taller. He stands up taller. He fights up, right? He needs to coil you, stay in the inside, produce those shots that's going to break him. When you're in the inside and you're a short fighter, you have the advantage. If you can stay under your opponent's punches, you can produce the power it takes and the combinations to execute and be more successful on the inside as the short fighter. Chris is going to give them availability to make his way in. And when he's inside, Conor Benn is going to have to take advantage of his short punches, right? Look at Conor Benn. Look at that first fight. Even in the inside, he was shooting too wide. He was too open with his shots. He needs to shorten those shots up. This is a Mike Tyson-esque approach, right? Use your body when you're producing the shots. When you're working the inside, if Conor Benn can do this, he can change the trajectory of the fight. You can be out here like this, Conor Benn, and I'm doing this late because I don't want to be talking about a potential game plan they have. But anyway, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? When you get in the inside, be here. Be shorter than your fighter. Stay under your punches. Stay behind and stay protected by your punches. You start producing your power with your body. Boom. This Mike Tyson. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. But no, Conor Benn likes to come around. He likes to pull. He likes to step back out of position. Makes it harder for him to find his way back to the inside. Right? That's the problem I see. Regardless of the fact, both of these guys are going to be able to punch from about round 1 to round 12. Here's the thing, though. If Conor Benn want to have a better chance at walking away with this victory, he's going to have to force Chris Eubank to fight, right? Late in the fight, this is a guarantee. Chris Eubank is going to fade. Regardless of him fading, he's still going to produce punches. He's still going to execute his shots, right? And when he's shooting his shots, he falls all over the place. When he's tired, it's almost like he can care less about being tired. He's just going to keep punching. Look sloppy, the whole nine, man. And if Conor Benn can find those shots that I'm talking about in the inside, short, coiled, and strong, produced with the body, then he can make something happen. Both of these guys can take shots, bro. Both of these guys can trade. Both of these guys can trade war stories all day. They can go from 1 to 12. Conor Benn's job is to take advantage of the late rounds and potentially wobble Chris Eubank. But it's hard to do because both of these boys can take punches. Both of these boys take pride in taking punches, right? But when it comes to Chris Eubank, if you got the skill set to keep him on the outside, keep him on the outside. You want the longevity. If you want to last in this sport, if you want to go years and years, years on top of years, then you got to learn how to not get hit so much. You taking too much punishment, champ. If you don't got to take the shots, don't. Just because you can, that don't mean you should, right? So I'm expecting Chris Eubank, or I want to see Chris Eubank be more successful on the outside. Keep him on the outside. Work from the outside. Ain't no need to step in. He'll come to you. You take advantage. The jab is key for Eubank. But he oversteps, though, JYD. He oversteps, though. That's the thing. Like, I love the jab, and he's strong with the jab, but he thinks the jab has to land every time he throws it. And that's a mistake. Put him to sleep with your jab. Make him think you ain't trying to connect. So the first one here and the second one, bow. You surprise him with that step in. But he oversteps, right? I think that's the issue too. But at the end of the day, here's my assessment and here's my pick. And here's why I think Chris Eubank will walk away with the decision. 8 rounds to 4. Simply because the game plan I'm seeing for Conor Benn won't be implemented. Again, he'll pretty much do what he did. Hopefully he sees something that he can change going into the second fight and we get a better fight from him, right? But at the same time, if Chris Eubank comes with the same approach, then we get pretty much the same fight, right? So this is what I want to see from Chris Eubank. Fight more on the outside, produce some of them skill sets and power, use proper footwork from the outside, and win the fight in a much better fashion, right? You can give fans a show, but show them your skill set on top of giving them a show. Conor Benn, get in the inside, stay in the inside, stay low, get under his punches, put your head under his chin, touch his body, use your body to produce the shots, touch. Willie, that's another story. Regardless of the fact we're going to get an exciting fight, again, my pick is Chris Eubank, 8 rounds to 4. You know, I think we're going to get pretty much the same fight around. I think he might, Conor Benn might make some changes. But at the end of the day, we're going to get what we saw the first fight because, I mean, it was exciting. And these boys fight with ego, man. You can hear it throughout the press conference. And here's the great news. Here's the best news. Papa Eubank and Papa Benn ain't fighting. They didn't weigh in. Listen to me. By default, Eubank Sr., Papa Eubank, he kind of gets on my nerve. This man is highly overconfident. He do the most. He draws attention. Man, Papa Haney ain't got nothing on Papa Eubank. Nothing. This man is on another stratosphere, man. So thank God they're not performing because they did all the performing they was going to do. We won't get a round 3, bro. This will be the last fight of Conor Benn, Chris Eubank. Chris Eubank should walk away with the decision again. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the daddies too, man, it's funny as hell what's going on. So listen, he got Bomac in camp with him. Bomac can help him understand what I'm telling y'all he needs to do, right? And I would imagine that's what Bomac is doing. telling Chris Eubank how he needs to execute from here. Stop just punching. Punch with precision. Step with precision. Keep him on the outside as much as you can because you can. You have the energy. You can produce it. Be that. From 1 to 12. Even if you don't get the stoppage. Right? This is what Bomac can give to Eubank. He can't give him another skill set in one fight, in one training camp. It's not going to happen. Right? But he can tell him how he needs to execute. He can help him shorten up his steps on his punches. Stop stepping in so close when he's producing those shots. When he's stepping in to execute. Quit giving it back. The thing with Chris Eubank is he's proud. Right? So he's going to execute and look forward to punches coming his way. If you land, you land. If you don't, you don't. But that's not on his mind. If it's on his mind, hit and don't get hit because I can and not because I have to, brother, a whole different game, and we get an exciting fight from there, and then we get to see Chris Eubank, your skill set. Nevertheless, I feel like Chris Eubank is still going to walk with this decision, man. You know, just joking, but 150 plan is real. If he doesn't get the victory, Eubanks, should it be a trilogy? Hell yeah. It's an exciting fight. This is why I want to see a trilogy, and this is why I can care less about a trilogy from Vergil and Better Beef, right? Vergil and Better Beef, they gave us the best version of themselves, both fights. So both fights were pretty much the same. 1-1, they both got one, but really, Vergil won both of those fights. We saw the best of them, right? So we saw more of what Vergil did the second fight around, but it was the same thing. So the fight is boring to me, honestly speaking. It's something every pressure fighter should see to learn how to pressure the right way, and it's something every boxer should see to learn how to box the right way. Both of these guys are the creme de la creme of how to box and how to apply pressure, right? When it comes to these two, Chris Eubank and Conor Benn, Conor Benn has things he can work on to make the fight better and possibly win. When it comes to Chris Eubank, he has things that he can get better at and win in better fashion, right? So that right there is more deserving of a trilogy than Vergil versus Better Beef. I love both fights and I love both fighters. Vergil, if y'all don't know, is my favorite fighter. Again, if a black fighter produces, can perform like Vergil, he's very disciplined in his craft. Then, I mean, we take it and we really, really make it shine. Or just a fighter with rhythm to keep race out of it. But we just got that rhythm. We got that flow. And this is why I say what I say. Right? But because there's improvement on both sides of the fence, these boys is going to give you a show. It's going to be entertaining. But you will rarely see the skill set that can be produced from both fighters. It's like if you're a short fighter, be a short fighter. This goes down to Benavidez and Anthony Yard, right? Anthony Yard has the body of a brawler, right? Size of a brawler. Can't produce the bombs like a brawler, but he chooses to box. This is why he'll get dominated by Benavidez. He chooses to box. He wants to look pretty. He's going to step in. He's going to step out. He's going to try to look good. No, man, be a dog. Have a different mentality, right? So, that's that. You know, I want to keep this short. Both what sucks? What both sucks, bro? Pressure me. I'm stepping back, leave that distance counter, and box. Exactly. Because you can. If you talk about Chris Eubank and Conor Benn, the only one that has skills is Shakur and Usyk. No one I think can think of can box. Abdullah Mason has some of the best boxing skills I see. It's a Floyd-esque approach, real talk. Like, when it comes to precision, once he starts measuring his distance to the right, where he really does, right? It's just opposition is the only thing that's going to make Abdullah better, right? But it's just like you see from Boots, like you see from Abdullah. When they fight, if they fight some cupcakes, then you're going to see they boxing in pure form, beautiful boxing ability, right? But it's when you're tested, when you're thrown in the fire, right, and forced to have to produce it, and when it doesn't work, this is what makes you better. So he's going to have tougher opposition. But Abdullah is by far, I'm telling you now, not by far when it comes to him and Shakur. But he is the best boxer I see today. And that's just me. Regardless of how you feel, what you think, go ahead and go on YouTube and match him. Right? Abdullah has a great skill set, man. And that's what I say about that. But we're going to see how this fight go today. I'm excited. I'm about to go get my hair cut, actually. So I'll be back in time for the fight. Do you think Abdullah throws his punches all at the same speed? Right? See, regardless if he does or not, right? Because that may be what you see, Tony. Right? No, I'm sorry. Will, that may be what you see. Right? But then again, he's young. He's up and coming. He still has a lot to learn. So, as he goes throughout this game, as he's constantly tested, thrown in the fire, his skills is put up on the torch, then, and he's getting better, then if you're not seeing that now, you will see that eventually. That was something I had to deal with. It's like, when it comes to Conor Benn, every punch has to land and every punch has to be hard. I'm sorry, not Conor Benn, Chris Eubank. Every punch has to land, every punch has to be hard. Right? It's like, this is who he is. So you're going to get an entertaining fight. But if I know when you punch me, it's going to be hard, I can always brace for it. Right? But if you know how to produce those shots, different velocity, different speeds, different tones, different makeup, right? Throw the jab in so many different ways. I'm going to use the jab because that's the best example, right? So many different makeups to how you execute with the jab. You can turn your opponent off. And my mission is to turn him off first. When you turn him off, you can set him up. When you set him up, you can land a punch. When you land that punch, you can knock him down. Walk away with the victory. Give yourself time. Give himself time. Keyshawn, who is back, thank God, which was my favorite fighter, but kind of still is. I just can't wait to see him back. I think he probably grown throughout what he's been through. So I can't wait to see Keyshawn Davis back in the ring, man. I just love watching that dude box, bro. Who wins, Abdullah Mason versus Keyshawn Davis? I'm gonna go with Keyshawn. I'm gonna go with Keyshawn. That's a 50-50. I don't got no pick, bro. I don't got no pick. But you give Abdullah Mason time and he's growing, then the best Abdullah Mason, I think he beats Keyshawn. I admire Abdullah's skill set. I really do. Hopefully he has the mentality to match and he's putting the work in on a consistent basis, which I feel like he is. That's what I'm talking about, Andre. You threw heat early too, right? But your jab variety even early. Exactly. You gotta have that. That's the setup for the come up, right? So it just learning how to put your opponent to sleep, knowing when your opponent is offensive and knowing when your opponent is defensive, right? And you gotta play off of that, right? In the upper echelon, even the professionals, because in the lower half of being a professional, it's simply fighter against fighter. There's really no setup there like a fighter can know, and he can even show that professional appeal, right? That that expert appeal. But because he hasn't been in the fire enough or through the storms enough, he can't be the professional that he's working toward, right? But eventually, when you make it to that upper echelon, when you start getting up to the top 5, right, championship level, this is where setups start. This is where the setup starts. This is where you start setting up one combination to the next. You know what I'm saying? You start winning rounds strategically. You start putting them in place. And eventually learn how to walk away with the victory based on the blueprint and not just your skills. Again, boxers can have all the skills in the world and not know what to do with them. You feel me? That's the issue with most fighters, man. Most fighters got the skill, but they don't know how to implement them in the right positions at the right time. But we're going to see what happens tonight. I'm super excited about tonight, man, because that last fight was a banger, man. I enjoyed it very much. We had 48, 49, 50,000 at Crawford versus Canelo, which was super dope. But that man, they got what, 20 more? Man, I can't believe it. Conor Benn and them got so many damn people showing up for that fight, man. It's blowing up. Do you really believe Boots beats Vergil? Did you hear me say that? Boots' skill set beats Vergil. Boots' skill set beats Vergil. But when they step in the ring, if they step in the ring next, will his Will his mentality do the same thing? Will his hunger to win be there when you got somebody like Vergil in front of you? Right? Like, I ain't gonna lie, what he did to Lubin, man, was it was a surprise, not but because, this ain't usually where you find Lubin, right? But I didn't think it was possible to take a boxer out, a brawler to take a boxer out this early, and he did that in extreme fashion, exciting fashion against a worthy opponent, man. So Vergil is a problem, man. He gonna be a problem for Boots for sure. I don't got no pick simply because I want to see more from Boots with top opposition. But when it comes to skill set, he definitely has a skill set to beat him. Listen, what Lubin showed y'all is not to stand still. Like, you seen the blueprint from Crawford when he fought Canelo. Consistent movement. You seen the blueprint from Floyd when he fought Ricky Hatton. Anybody constantly moving, right? You see the blueprint when you see Bivol versus Beterbiev. You don't stand still. A power puncher is more successful when you stand still. If he can catch you standing still with your feet in the concrete, then he can land those concrete blows, right? The only remedy to beating or the best chance you have, the best remedy to beating a puncher is movement. A puncher is a strong puncher usually because he's set with his feet and he shoots strong shots. If you don't let him set with his feet, he can't shoot strong shots. That's logic, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I'm excited for this fight. I can't wait to see it, man. I wanted to jump on real quick before I go get my haircut. I'm about to take off and go get my haircut because I swear I'm supposed to be there 6 minutes. I got to be there in 6 minutes. I'm about to be late. Why did Lubin stay on the ropes? He stopped there. Hey, listen. It's time for Lubin to retire. That's all I know, man. He had a great career. If you're looking forward to being a gatekeeper, be a gatekeeper. But I think that's his only option at this point. He can still produce exciting fights. I don't know why he chose to stay on those ropes. I think that's been the issue for a long time, and he did just that. So we got the performance that we got. That's my time, y'all. Peace.